you don't have to bet on this game. When there are other games on the board, if it's too big of a number, you don't like a player prop, you think it's just too pricey, then you can always move forward to something else. Like Bengals Steelers, I think is going to be a great game as well. We'll talk about that one. But that's really the only way I think I would play Baltimore here. Now, I'm seeing in the chat, Derrick Henry needs one more touchdown to get to 15 and earn an incentive, but I would imagine his anytime touchdown price has got to be like, what, minus 250 or something stupid?
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm not even seeing player props right now. So maybe, obviously, we use BetMGM. They don't have anything listed. I haven't seen anything at some of the other books either. So, again, there's just not many options.
Oh, there's really not. Is Lamar Jackson going to make a late push for MVP? Can he do it? I think it's gonna go to Josh Allen. He's the overwhelming favorite right now. Around minus, I think I checked yesterday, it was minus 200, minus 300. So you're laying a lot of minus money on Josh Allen. And I feel like the narrative fits Josh Allen. But Lamar has been spectacular over the last couple weeks. His stats are better now, I believe, than when he's won the MVP previously and won it twice. So he's having arguably his best season ever. If he just completely balls out in this game, is there a chance he steals the MVP?
I don't think so, because it feels unfair to Josh Allen, because Josh Allen is going to start against the Patriots just to keep his consecutive starts alive, but then he's going to be pulled rather quickly because there's no reason for the Bills to be playing any of their starters against the Patriots. So looking at the odds now, one would think that we've already pretty much given it to Josh Allen. I'm not going to say never, though, because we've seen stranger things transpire. You're right. It's kind of wild to me. You look at the numbers and the stats for Lamar Jackson, it feels like maybe he should be the MVP. I don't know if it's voter fatigue or if it's something to the narrative that Josh Allen lost his number one receiver and he doesn't play with a star-studded cast around him and he's still putting up these numbers. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson has Derrick Henry at his disposal. So maybe that goes into it. And maybe it's something that, the numbers just don't really matter that much when you're competing against Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think narrative matters. And I also think it's hilarious that you and I have picked Josh Allen for the first 3 years of this show to win MVP. This is the first year we didn't. And of course, the 1 year we don't, he's going to end up taking it home. We were on Josh Allen the first couple years easy.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's somebody who's really easy to root for. But the numbers are there this year. And again, the narrative goes with it as well, because remember, these are humans that are voting on this. So it's not just the stats that need to fly off the page. You need some type of other storyline. And the Bills have also been really solid this year as well, because wins go into it as well.
Well, the Steelers could use a win on Saturday. Hosting the Bengals. The Bengals are laying 1.5. The Bengals are minus 125. The Steelers are plus 105. Your total is 48 and a hook in the Steel City. This line opened, I believe, with the Bengals laying 3. So we've seen some Pittsburgh money come in. And we were talking about this a few weeks ago, I think, at the height of, I was going to say Steelers mania. It wasn't really Steelers mania. But
Steelers mania.
I was like, let me check myself on that one. But you know what I mean? Where the Steelers are playing really great football.
Yes.
And it was like, wow, is this team going to make a run? And Russ is dropping these balls in the bucket downfield. Mike Tomlin doing his thing. Well, we pointed out at the time, okay, yes, but also this schedule coming up for the Steelers is no joke. And now we're seeing it come to fruition where they are really stumbling. They got to get a dub here. And do they get it at home against the Bengals? I feel like the Bengals are the one team you don't want to be playing right now. But Pittsburgh isn't home.
Yeah, and also, have you seen the Bengals defense? Have you seen some of the play calls that Zach Taylor makes down the stretch? So as good as Joe Burrow has been, still look at the win-loss record, because right now, if you're putting your money down on the Bengals, you're not putting your money down on Joe Burrow. You're putting your money on the team. And that's where my confidence starts to get a little shaky. I think if you play something in this game, you look at something that kind of hinges on that. So you either look at the passing yardage for Joe Burrow. It's pretty high, though. I will say that. But do we see them winning this game any other way than Joe Burrow throwing for a bunch of yards and putting the team on his shoulders? No, I don't think so. So 288.5. I think you can find a better number at another book maybe, but it's 288.5 over at BetMGM. I think you take the over there if you believe in the Bengals at all. I was just looking at the weather, though, because the other direction I was thinking was the over. Again, going back to that Bengals defense, it's been god-awful. I do think this is a back and forth affair, total sitting at 48. But the weather in Pittsburgh doesn't look super balmy. I think it's a high of 24, snow showers. So, Jenks, should that affect the handicap at all if you're on the over here?
I think, yeah, absolutely. You need to take that into account. No question. Snow showers. When I see snow, it's hard. It's hard for me to bet the over. Just on principle, it's hard for me to do it. But the Bengals defense is not good. This might be a good sell high spot on the Bengals. They've won 4 straight. They look fantastic. But Pittsburgh needs to get this win, not just because they want to make the playoffs, but seeding will matter. And it's sort of priced in that, okay, we know the Ravens are going to beat the Browns. So what does that mean for the Steelers? It means we have to have a win over the Bengals here to make sure that we play the Texans in the wild card round, because there is a possibility that if they lose and the Chargers win, all of a sudden the Steelers get the Ravens in the first round. I mean, that's the last thing they want, is to take Baltimore in the first round of the playoffs. So you might say, well, the Steelers aren't going to be motivated. Yes, they will. They do not want the Ravens in the opening round of the playoffs. So if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm just as motivated to make sure we take on the Texans and we handle our business. And we have seen money coming on Pittsburgh. This might be a spot where you just take the home dog here in the Steelers.
I think I'm just going with Joe Burrow. That's the only thing I feel like I can trust. Or here's the other storyline, I think, in some of these games that are especially meaningful. You go with the superstars. If your season's on the line, do you think that, you're going to trust some guy that's like a role player? No, you're going to go to your superstars. I think the problem with the Bengals is that they kind of have a few because it's not just Jamar Chase. They also have T. Higgins, who's also been really great in the recent sample size. So I'm not sure which receiver you pick. I think somebody's having a big receiving day, maybe both. And maybe that's why you just take a look at Joe Burrow and his passing yards. But I think they have to go through the air against the Steelers to keep it close. And they've got to put their foot on the gas pedal because their defense is certainly going to give up some points.
Yeah, I think I'm going to talk myself into the Steelers, I think. Maybe. Or maybe I'll find another game on the board. But I just feel like in the cold, when the Steelers need this dub and the Bengals have won 4 straight, you could also say, well, the Bengals have won 4 straight. Joe Burrow's playing out of his mind, and he is. You talk about a guy who's having an MVP season. If Cincinnati were winners right now, we'd be talking about Joe Burrow, who's having the best season of his career. He's playing as well as anyone in the world right now, quarterback. He's unbelievable. I just feel like the Steelers are going to be ready for him. I wish I'd gotten Steelers +3 in a snow game. Feels like a field goal game. And now, 1.5. Might as well just take the money line.